Hello everyone, I am Thomas Laurie, and today we will be doing a screencast on effective instruction by Jim Burke, and I'll be focusing on how it connects to physical education. So today on our agenda, we're going to start off by talking about how he focuses on instruction that works, classroom. Then we'll be going on to classroom culture, and then finish off by curriculum basics. And then, so our objective today is to be able to explain the connection between physical education and Jim Burke's ideas of instruction that works, classroom culture, and curriculum basics. I think it's important that, and I just put it the objective because I think it's important that we model our behaviors, and that's kind of where I start with the instruction that works. So visual explanations, I think it's important that modeling is a great way that we do this in physical education. I'll have when we're doing dribbling for basketball right now, and I'll have a student show what I'm talking about when we're doing a specific drill. So they'll be dribbling, and that's pretty much what a visual explanation is for us in basketball. We're just demonstrating, doing a lot of demonstration. We also want to vary our instruction, so that's meaning just using different ways to teach for different learners. So differentiating is a key word that you hear a lot of the times. That means also vary. So we want to so like for instance, I always talk about pounding the ball. So somebody might not know what pounding is in basketball. So instead, I have to explain how you want to use the pads of the fingertips to try to push the ball downward through the ground as hard as you can. So that's also just a way of saying pound the ball. Um, Next is group work. Group work's also a great way to that they talks about how instruction that works and all the different ways that you can use group work. Um, it's a great way for students to interact, and it's also something that they're gonna have to do a lot in their lifetime. So it's a good lifetime skill that they're able to develop. And then last one, instruction that works that I picked up on was assess before and excuse me, before and after they teach. So for us, like for me, for basketball, I had them hold up a 1, 2, or 3 before we started, how comfortable they were with dribbling with their dominant hand, and then a 1, 2, or 3 with how comfortable they were dribbling with their non-dominant hand before the exercise. And then after our different activities that we did, I had them do the same activity just to kind of gauge how well they're improving and things like that. So it's a good way to tell whether the activities and lessons that you're doing are effective. Next is classroom culture. He talks about how we need to get to know our learners. So it's just for me, it's asking them different questions, and you know, assessing them is a good way to, and just gauging what they like, what they don't like, how they learn the best. Whether they're visual learners or audio learners, different things like kinesthetic learners, so they have to do it while they're moving, different things like that. What they thought of after the activity's over, you can ask them what they thought of the activity, what they've learned. Um, so it's a lot of questioning and just getting to know them. But I also think it's important for them to get to know you, so that way they feel comfortable sharing and being just to feel safe to actually express how they actually feel. Next, variations of group. I kind of already talked about that, and so he discusses a lot about groups, and I think groups are great, and it's definitely something that we do a lot in PE because we have to, and because it's also team sports. There's a lot of what we're doing in the skills developing, so um, it's important that they're able to be able to perform different roles, and different students are better at different things, and so it's good to be able to the better you know your students, you're able to place them in different groups, or you can allow them to choose their own groups depending on the activity that you're doing, and you can guide them depending on what you're doing. So it's always good that way. Next, I think he talks about student-based learning, so it needs to be focused on what they're learning and just what they're able to do. So that's kind of a culture that you build. It's a lot of the instruction should be guided to them. So I think that comes with modeling and allowing your students to model. The students that are better already ahead of the class can model for the students that are kind of trying to catch up, and it shows them where they want to where they should be able to try to be striving to get to and things like that. Um, so there's that. Oops, sorry. And then also I think that most importantly, you need to build a safe and productive classroom resources, and also just in safe environment that students feel comfortable in. Um, Studies have shown clearly that it's you learn more when you feel comfortable and safe. So, and when I say classroom, I mean environment. It's more like a field, PE field, or out in a basketball court, or different environments. It's they have to feel comfortable first in that place. So we need to let them get to know those places, and then also we need to take care of our resources that we're provided with, and be productive with those, and allow students to be creative with those different resources, and have fun with them, and that way they can start thinking differently. And yeah. Next is curriculum basics. Um, so this really is just, he talks about, you want to be able to have students will be able to, and then dot dot dot, you want to be able to explain, they want to be able to demonstrate, you want to be able to identify. This is all of that students will be able to, and then you want to just be clear on what your goal is for that. So that kind of goes into that. But so yeah, we want to make sure that we make our objectives and goals clear. So that means just making sure we're stating them at the beginning or posting them depending on what we're doing, and just having a consistent routine about how you do that, so students know um, where they can look to be to what they should be doing in the class. Lastly, it's skills based, mostly for PE. So he talks about what type of curriculum it's learning. So skills based a lot of the time for PE is what we're going to be assessing and building off of. We want to be able to build off different motor skills a lot of the time, as well as um, psychomotor skills, as well as affective domain and different abilities. So yep, and then also we want to have a clear rubric. So when we're assessing our students, we want to make sure that we explain clearly what they're going to be assessing on, how they're going to be graded, what they're going to be tested on, and different things like that. And we just want to make sure that it's clear, because students are always get concerned, and it alleviates a lot of fears of tests and assessing and things like that. So closer, we connected today in our screencast. We connected how how Jim Burke talks about instruction that works, classroom culture, and curriculum basis, and how that connects to physical education. And that is it. Thank you guys for tuning in.